guys. So I decided to make a video about something that I feel should be a conversation, perhaps. The main topic is what is racist, what is not. Now, I usually joke about how 2015 was the year everyone got offended, and I think that's really true. I mean, literally, you couldn't walk outside your front door without offending someone, which I think is really sad. Talk about the planet being so separated, feeling so separate, that we literally are just offended by everything. So I was watching a video just literally 10 minutes ago, and I just wanted to put my thoughts out and maybe start a conversation. Now again, I have no desire to be offensive or things. This is just my own personal opinion. Again, I'm white, so my opinion doesn't necessarily come from specific experience, but this is my feelings on when we separate ourselves as people. So I was watching a video about cultural appropriation, which is essentially, from what I've understood, when someone who is not of a certain culture takes on a style or a way of being from that culture without knowing anything about it, or just using it for just because they like it or whatever. And a lot of people would say that is racist. However, yes, if someone does that and they're conscious of it, then yes, it would be racist if they have some sort of disrespect. But they also call it cultural appropriation when someone has no idea. And I think this comes to an interesting topic, because then you're basically saying certain races hold claim to certain styles or certain ways of being. And you might say, yes, we do. We have certain traditions and all that stuff. But my opinion is that if we want the planet to come together as a whole and just see us all as human beings, we need to stop separating ourselves with these belief systems. For instance, in this video I was watching, this, I'm assuming African American, not sure, was saying that if a white woman gets dreads, it's cultural appropriation because white women get praised for having dreads and African American women have to straighten their hair or cut their hair to stay in jobs and such, which I think is horrible, and I think that's ridiculous. On the other hand, I don't think a lot of white women with a lot of dreads could get a lot of jobs. I think they'd be also asked to cut their hair, so I think that might be not completely true. However, she was saying that if someone doesn't understand these concepts, then that person shouldn't have dreads. Why is that? Has the African American community, or black people, since they're not all African American, dark-skinned people, what gave them the claim on dreads? Clearly anyone can dread their hair. So it's a human thing. They just did it, maybe in their cultures, because it was easier for them when it first started. Understandable. However, I have plenty of white friends who haven't done much with their hair, and their hair is dreading underneath. If our hair naturally dreads as well, how is it just their style of hair? We're all human. I think that when it comes to style and things like that, it seems very odd to separate ourselves that way when the problem of racism is separation. Why don't we deal with the main problem, that we should stop being racist towards African Americans in jobs and all that? Great. We need to work on that for sure. But why keep the separation even farther open by saying white people can't do X, Y, and Z? Wouldn't it be better if white people had dreads? Maybe it will become more common, and then everyone can have them and no one cares. I just feel like a lot of times, under the guise of trying not to be racist, we're creating more separation by saying, well, we want to do this because if you do this, you're racist, so you can't do this because you're this race. But essentially, you're then saying, well, because you're white, you can't do this, which is technically still racism. Because when it comes right down to it, if you judge someone, or someone can't do something because they're a certain color, white, black, Asian, whatever, that's racism. That's separation of people because of the color of their skin. So I feel like the conversation is kind of misplaced. I feel that it's more important to get at the root of the problem and deal with our feelings of separation towards each other, but don't make it worse by causing separation in other areas. That's just my personal opinion. Now, I have gotten asked a few times. I wear an Om on my neck, and recently I was in a shop run by a man from India, and he said, "Oh, that's the Om. Like, do you use that in your practice?" Now, obviously, the Om has become something that's kind of everywhere. Like, I've seen people wear it, and I'm like, I know you probably don't know what that means. Maybe that's a judgment, sure. But sometimes you can just kind of tell that they just like the symbol. It's a common symbol. So they're like, oh, cool, it means like peace, yoga, la-di-da. And so I wear the Om because I very much, it's an important symbol to me because I do a lot of practicing with that energy of Om and the chakras and all of that stuff. So I wear it for my own because I understand the thing. So this man from India asked if I knew what it meant, and I said, yes, totally, it's part of my spiritual practice, it's very important to me. And he had some questions about it. He actually doesn't personally partake in that religion, even though he's from India, but he was very curious because a lot of people wear it and really have no idea. So my opinion is, if you're gonna wear something or do something, have some knowledge about it, like know where it comes from and honor it. But we're all people. When it comes to style and dress and things like that, it's about self-expression. I don't think anyone can say they have a claim on a certain type of self-expression. We're all humans. We should all be able to express. If you like a certain hairstyle, you should be able to do that. If you like a certain type of clothes, you should do that. It's just that certain cultures have kind of like based certain things, certain styles around their culture, and I think that's beautiful. I think the more people that can have that kind of spread through different types of people, it's awesome, because then we can become more of a whole and we can all appreciate it instead of it just being separate things. Anyway, I hope that made sense. I've kind of felt this way for a while, and being like white again, I don't personally have any experience on this front, so I'm not trying to say that I have experience, but I feel like it's just on a human level. I don't think it's really putting us in the right direction to say you're racist, so you can't, like, you're racist for doing this, so like we're separate and all stuff. Like, a lot of people just, by trying to be politically correct, we're still showing that we're different people. I come from this space, you come from this space, you need to honor me, yes, that's awesome, but it still creates separation. We're still seeing how we're different, how we need to do that. I think we should just all start seeing ourselves as different versions of human beings, like different beautiful things. You don't go up to a person with red hair and, like, if you said, oh, you have red hair, or you have blonde hair, or you have black hair, you wouldn't be like, oh my god, you're offending me. No, that's just a fact. That's not having an issue. Now, if you start judging that person based on that, or if you start being negative towards that person, yes, by all means, like, what the hell, like, that's ridiculous. We're all just human. But looking and talking to someone and appreciating the differences, or seeing the beauty in that and saying, hey, that's amazing, you're different from me and it's beautiful and stuff like that. Someone might say it's being racist because you're seeing it, or you're not. No, it's saying, like, the sky is blue. Yeah, it's blue. Okay. I have curly hair. Awesome. Like, it's just, that's just a fact. Again, the separation comes from when you judge, or you see that there are differences and you somehow think that we're then different. And I think that's where the problem comes in. So if you guys have any personal thoughts on this, I'd like to hear what you have to say. Please keep the comments sweet and kind. Again, this is me just trying to figure out my beliefs and my feelings on it. Again, I'm all about, let's come together, let's all be one. Let's all see each other as just human beings, different aspects and expressions of that amazing energy that is human beings. We all get to express that differently, and how beautiful that is. And I think that's what we should come at and say, wow, we're all just freaking beautiful human beings, and let's all share each other's cultures, and let's all be involved, because then we can all get to know each other and really realize that we are all just one people with different skin color and different hair color, because it actually makes it way more interesting and exciting if we're all a little different. I mean, if we were all the same, it would be fucking boring, and it would just not be fun at all. So I think it's time to maybe start talking about the fact that sometimes by being politically correct or saying, no, you can't do this because we do it, that's still a form of separation, and it's not really helping anything. So again, leave comments down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm totally willing to be educated on this. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. And of course, we can all agree to disagree. If we have different opinions, that's okay, as long as it's in love and we're all trying to express ourselves as honestly as we can through love. I think that is the most important part, if we can all be accepting and loving of each other. And, whenever you make a decision, do it educated and, do the research and come to your own conclusions. And if it feels good in your heart and you feel that it's with love, you do you. I don't have an issue if you have a different opinion than I do. That's great. Again, that's how we can learn from each other. So this is my personal opinion. I know it's kind of a touchy subject, but I think if something has to do with coming together, it's awesome. If there's some sort of separation, it's not hitting the mark. I think this is really about that we need to come together as a planet and really just see each other as all beautiful, beautiful souls in different bodies. We're in different vehicles for this planet. That's the only difference between us. All the same soul, all the same source. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Again, comment down below if you have any comments on it. I'd love to hear what you have to say. My social media links are in the description bar below. And I love you guys so much, and have a great day. Mwah. Namaste. Bye.